we're going to be looking at Module 1, Week 3, Lesson 11, Fluency. In this, we're going to be working on our reading rate. Reading rate is how fast or slow you are reading the text. Now, it's not always better to be super fast. You want to be reading at a pace that's not too fast or too slow. Before we read this over, you should read this passage, is the monster real, the fluency passage, to see if there are any words that you need to work on. You can highlight those or circle them, so when I'm reading them, you can identify them. Now, reading rate can depend on what you're reading. Sometimes when you are reading a story that gets exciting, you might read faster. Or sometimes when there's a story and there's something really big about to happen, you might slow down, just like when you speak. Sometimes when we're reading something for information, you might read it a little bit slower just so that you can understand the information and so that it will you'll be able to figure out the information from it. I'm going to read this text, and I want you to think about if I'm reading it too fast or too slow, or at the right rate. Is the monster real? Loch Ness is a lake in Scotland. It lies in a valley called Great Glen. The lake was formed by ice about 10,000 years ago. It is long and deep, but not very wide. Many people visit Loch Ness. Scientists also study it. That is because Loch Ness has a mystery. And what do you guys think? Was that too fast or too slow? Definitely too fast. It was hard for me to even remember what I read because I was reading it so fast because all I was trying to do was read it fast. And plus, it also made it hard to focus on reading with expression. I wasn't able to pause at the periods so that I could help make this understandable. I'm going to read it again, and I want you to listen and see the difference. Is the monster real? Loch Ness is a lake in Scotland. It lies in a valley called Great Glen. The lake was formed by ice about 10,000 years ago. It is long and deep, but not very wide. Many people visit Loch Ness. Scientists also study it. That is because Loch Ness has a mystery. Notice, I read it a lot slower, and it was easier to stop at the punctuation, pause at the punctuation. It was also easier to use the punctuation for the question mark as well. That made it easier to understand. I'm going to read some more at this rate. People have always told stories about Loch Ness. In 1933, a man and a woman were going for a ride by the lake. They said they saw a huge creature. A reporter wrote their story in a newspaper. He called the creature a monster. People kept sharing the story. Soon the creature became known as the Loch Ness Monster. But there is still a question. Is the monster real or is it a prank? Many people claim to have seen it. They say it is black or brown and about the size of a whale. Others say it is like a sea monster with scales and a long tail. No one seems to know for sure. They say the monster slips away before they can prove it is real. Scientists have looked for the Loch Ness Monster. As of today, no one has been able to find it. Some think it could be a kind of big eel or fish, but it is more likely that people are seeing a log of trash, which they may mistake for a monster. Will the Loch Ness Monster remain a mystery forever? Perhaps we shall never know. So now it was a lot easier to understand when I was reading at this rate. You can also read at a rate that's too slow, and that will make it hard to remember or understand what is being read. Loch Ness is a lake in Scotland. It lies in a valley called Great Glen. Now, if I read too slow, it's hard to remember or understand what was happening. So we also want to make sure we're reading it fast enough. So I want you to make sure that you're careful of these words: Loch Ness, Scotland, and scientists. And I think there's one more. Creature right here. Those are all tricky words, so just be careful while you're practicing. Don't forget to practice before you record. I would practice several times. I would also kind of split it up to practice it too, especially if I was having a lot of trouble reading at the correct rate. I might get one sentence really good and then do a second sentence and then put those together. That way I can practice reading at the right rate. Like get Loch Ness is a lake in Scotland. And then do it again. Loch Ness is a lake in Scotland. Then try the next one. It lies in a valley called Great Glen. And then put them together. That way, if I'm having trouble with the right rate, I can practice the sentences at the right rate and then add them together and get more and more until I get the whole thing at the right rate. Have a great day!